an anime original Ani Ori, aka filler, aka we about to get a bunch of comedy with the relief of booty. This is the kind of episode where I have to remind you freaks to put that monster back in its cage. Hide your KY because your mom's one step away from cleaning up a Randy Marsh.
It's all over the place.
Sid is gone, folks. So we got two bozos, a bunch of beast poon, ex-traumatized elven poon, unidentified poon, and a bunch of more slice of booty. Who needs a true plot when you can draw out your dragon energy from this episode's comedy? If the laughs don't get to you, the visuals will. Ass, titties, ass, titties. Usually when you laugh, there's a joke. In this case with this anime, usually there's irony involved. Spoiler warning, guys. Please put the lube away because there's a lot of ass and there's a lot of titties in this one. And do me a favor, hit the like button, and please subscribe to the channel. So for this video, we're going to be covering The Imminence Shadow, Season 2, Episode 8, Ryu no Namida, The Dragon's Tears. So, like I said before, what we have here is a filler episode, an anime original, which is always a plus. In my mind, it's always good to have extra content, especially if it's visual ones. Ass, titties, ass, titties. So what is a filler? It's just an episode that doesn't really move the main plot forward. Typically that would mean that this would be a lower stress episode, more of a slice of life, and typically they'll inject a lot of humor in that kind of episode. Technically filler, it's pretty broad. It can actually cover a lot of different things like backstories and pretty intense plots. So before you guys yell at me, I totally understand that, but when I think of filler, I think of slice of life. I think of them doing fan service and that type of deal. Usually within that slice of life, we get character development. But the main question I have in mind for fillers, whether it's in the manga or anime, is can you consider filler to be good? In your minds, guys, what makes a filler good? Is it truly an episode that you can look forward to? My answer is yes, but it's never gonna be the peak episode in the series, because obviously there's no real plot that's driving a story forward. So if you don't really have an episode that really advances the main plot in any significant way, what is the next best thing? Ass, titties, ass, titties. On the real though, fan service is incredibly important whether you are holier than thou or not. Just not lolly stuff though, please. The best timing for filler is clearly between arcs, especially if it's a really tense one. After an emotional roller coaster, I can only take so much back to back before I end up in a mental institution for anime abuse. You know what cures mental hurdles? Ass, titties. Other than the timing, fillers are usually slice of life and pretty damn humorous. So, what is The Imminence Shadow known for? Their comedic irony. What other important quality does a filler episode have? A bunch of side characters that we would love to see more of. This is what makes the creators Takeshima Daisuke, Kato Tanichi, and Nakanishi Kazuya of this episode and this anime amazing. When the creators know and understand exactly what got them there, they understand the recipe to make an episode like this and deliver it well. So the formula of The Imminence Shadow itself is pretty conducive to what a filler episode typically bring. It's what makes it good. In this episode, they pretty much did all of that, which what The Imminence Shadow already does well. So they created a plot out of the irony with the Dragon Tears lore and backstory. Add to that irony by having Skell and Poe fake it until they almost make it, and of course, ass, titties. Between the irony of the plot, we got to see Nu go goblin mode, a mode we have yet to see out of her as she almost Yakuza the crap out of Skell and Poe. At this point, it's incredibly hilarious to even talk about Zeta and Ada being in the show because they almost never say or do anything on screen. Alpha literally said that Zeta would be on this mission from the previous arc. They showed her for a brief moment and we never got to see her again. Now we have another Beast Poon, a smarter one that can trade barbs with the other Beast Poon, Delta. You guys can argue over what kind of Beast Poon they are, but at the end of the day, they're just Beastpoon, and I don't even think they care what kind of Beastpoon they are. Delta said it herself, I ain't no pussy. Zeta is a fresh addition for this episode, but the true star to me is Ada. She clearly had the best scenes in the episode. There was the flashback story of the dragon's tears as it relates to the hot springs. She reenacted the whole thing. It was quite the humorous backstory. Lambda did one too with the origin of the dragon tears with the dragon and then the princess, which they added a funny little wrinkle with that reenactment as well. But the true star and the most hilarious scene in the episode, I would have to give it to Ada. And Ada totally taking advantage of Beta. Up until this point, fan service was off the charts. Instead of animating lots of jiggling, they just freeze frame some of the naughtiest poses and just pan the whole body of all the characters in their swimming outfits. And back to Bunny Ada, she really pulled out a butt plug. And they really let Beta make the joke that she might like it. Y'all some freaks. This episode was one scene away from being your favorite hentai. They might as well add in that Yuri tag. Jokes aside, Ada got to display her intelligence, her wit, and her sadomasochism. In the end, the true stars are Skell and Poe. Because of them, we got to see more than what pleased the eyes. Without them, there would be no fan service and all the other hilarious things that happen. For the 5% of the female viewers that I have, Skell and Poe are literally the perfect joke of characters to make fun of men's struggles, because that shit's real. We all gotta compete with people like Shadow out there. Can't nobody compete with that. Or can we? He's just an NPC. So overall, what made this episode a good filler? The Imminence of Shadow humor, using the comedic irony of the plot. Through that, all of these Shadow Garden characters, you get the fun little cattiness between all of them. Like that scene at the round table where they're figuring out who should be the 3 that goes on a date with Sid. And it was nice to have a more prominent role for Zeta and Ada, who have been there the entire time but barely had any scenes. And of course, ass, titties, ass, titties. And also, new, straight up going gangsta. But through it all, more importantly, more than just their ass and titties, we got to see their personality shine. So I know I pretty much glossed over the entire plot of the episode, but it's really not about that. Just like what they do in every single episode, they always do a good job in making the plot ironic. And through that, all the characters and their personalities, they get to do things and say things to each other. Just ends up being hilarious. Honestly, the best interactions, like in the previous arc, is Shadow basically betraying Alpha, and we get that connection. And in this episode, what was the best moment, at least in my eyes? It was Ada inflicting mental damage to Beta. And I just found that scene like super hilarious. And the fact that the creators went that much further and almost crossing the line, but they didn't cross the line. I think that's what's fun about the show. So to me, this episode is an example of what makes a filler good. It's not going to be that memorable because of the plot, but it's going to be memorable because we got to see Zeta and Ada, and we got to see their actual personalities and seeing what kind of characters they are, how they speak, how they interact with the other Shadow Garden members. It was very refreshing. And of course, all that fan service, all I can think of, because I'm a collector, as you guys can see on my anime figures here. Holy crap, there's an Ada bunny. Maybe, are they gonna make a bunny figure of her? But yeah, overall, it was a good episode for what it is. Slapped right in the middle after back-to-back good arcs that are pretty intense. And also for US viewers, it's during a holiday, so it actually feels like perfect timing overall for a Westerner, especially from the US. But yeah, I enjoyed the episode more than just the fan service. It really was character development for characters that we are not that privy to. And seeing more of Shadow Garden is never a bad thing. And like every plot, that self-inflicted harm is the best kind of plot in this show. And the creators, they get the show, and it makes us enjoy it that much more. So yeah, just let me know what you guys thought about the episode. What was your favorite moment in the show? It was truly a great visual experience. And yeah, it looks like I might have to get out of here. Do me a favor, guys. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. Check out my blog at otakusen.com. And I appreciate you guys watching. And I'll see you guys on the next video.